Howdy, everybody. Have you noticed that there seems to be a lot of homesteaders around lately? They're all over the place, it seems. Social media, YouTube, community markets, roadside stands, there's conferences, on and on and on.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Life in the Jungle.
We're Tyler and Todd.
Hi, this is Billy from Permapastures Farm.
How's it going, everyone? You're watching the Green Dream Project.
Greetings, friends!
Hey everyone, this is Dwayne
and Lori,
and this is Edge of Nowhere Farm.
Well, I happen to be one of those homesteaders, Lena and I thought that we could explore what's going on with that. But before I do, I wear these dark glasses because I'm autistic, and my eyes tend to move around a lot and bounce all over the place like doll eyes, and that can be difficult for people to watch, and so I cover my eyes with dark glasses, so I hope you can bear with me on that. So what is homesteading anyway? Well, the website Get Homesteading defines it as a lifestyle of self-sufficiency, and that is characterized by producing the basic staples of living at home. The origins of homesteading go all the way back to 1862 with the Homesteading Act. The U.S. government granted up to 160 acres of land to people who were willing to live on that land and to develop it. And this Homestead Act drove many families out to the what now is the western United States, to start a new life for themselves. Of course, completely ignored was the fact that there were already people living on that land. But we're not going to get into that in such a short video like this. So homesteading traditionally is about living off the land. But today it has evolved to really encompass any activity that produces self-sufficiency within the home.
I figured we'd get some canning done today. I have a couple different jams and jelly preserve recipes that I want to try out.
And that includes anybody from a homeowner to a farmer to an apartment dweller. They all can be homesteaders if they're dedicated to self-sufficiency. So Lena and I have an 8.5-acre homestead here in Nicaragua where we have sheep, we raise chickens, and we primarily grow fruit. But homesteading involves, and self-sufficiency involves, a lot of different activities and a lot of different things. And I'm going to show you one of those right now while we're exploring some of the things that have contributed to the surge in homesteading. When you have animals like we do, it's extremely important that you don't allow their poop to accumulate where they sleep. Otherwise, you're inviting disease problems to occur. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now while I'm talking to you, is cleaning up poop of the sheep. Many factors have contributed to the surge in homesteading over the years, and each person has their own story to tell. But I've identified 9 general factors that I think are major contributors. The first of these is general angst. People are growing tired of urban life and are realizing that there's a better way to live. With the rising cost of university education and the prospect of crippling student loan debt, people are questioning whether the traditional path to success, graduating high school, going to college, and then entering the job market, is right for them. The second contributor is a big one, and that is the permaculture and regenerative agriculture movements. Guys like Jeff Lawton, Gabe Brown, Joel Salatin, Mark Shepard, Charles Massey, and Alan Savory, among others, have shown us what that better way to live is. They have taught us a different way to farm, one that is holistic and ecologically responsible, one that doesn't try to control or tame nature, but to work with it to produce abundance. Like many other people, I learned what was possible through these other agents of change. The third factor is the off-grid movement. Rising utility costs, coupled with major and prolonged outages of electricity, concerns about water quality and availability, and our insane dependency on fossil fuels, and just a desire to live more independently has led many to choose fully or partially living off-grid. In fact, this movement has been so threatening to the status quo that some municipalities have passed ordinances restricting rainwater harvesting and requiring requiring households to be connected to the electrical grid, even if they are generating their own electricity. The fourth factor is the minimalist movement, learning to live with less. A classic example of this is the tiny house trend that has been so revolutionary that many municipalities have passed ordinances against it. But Ken Cavenaugh, in his TED Talk, How Much is Enough, profoundly changes the focus of minimalism from a dieter's perspective of getting by with less to when do we have enough and can walk away from the table satiated. I've put a link to this TED Talk in the description, and I highly recommend it. Now, it isn't enough just to gather up the poop every day. We have to do something with it, something useful with it. Otherwise, we're not being self-sufficient. So follow me, and I'll show you what we do. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to click the like button for this video. That helps me a lot. Thanks a bunch. Now, you may remember that about 6 or 8 weeks ago, we planted some special grass here called Cameroon grass. It had purple stalks. And that grass is growing right now. You can see it right behind me here. Here's one. Here's another big one. Another big one coming up. You can see the purple. I've got a 5-gallon bucket here full of sheep poop that I've taken out of the area there. We're still in the rainy season, and one of the things that happens in the rainy season here is we get so much rain that it tends to wash out a lot of the nutrients that are in the soil. So we're going to replenish that with the sheep poop so that the Cameroon grass, which we want to be able to feed the sheep in the summer, in the dry season, will grow and be lush. The minimalist movement led to the nomadic life movement. Because people couldn't build and live in a tiny house, they took the tiny house concept and made it mobile. So van life became very popular.
And I live in a van down by the river.
Many of those people have eventually settled in one place to a homestead, partially because of the pandemic. Examples of this are the Nomadic Movement, Van Wives, Trenton Alley. You can find all of these people on YouTube. The sixth factor is food. People want good quality food. And the food that we're getting today in grocery stores is not very nutritious, not locally grown. In most cases, it's brought in from outside. And people want locally grown, nutritious food that is preservative-free, disease-free, and pesticide-free. The seventh factor is the economy. And what can we say about that? Except that more work can be done remotely now, which has opened up more possibilities for rural living and has led more to the surge in homesteading. The eighth factor is the pandemic. The pandemic gave us a giant time out. It gave people a chance to re-examine their lives and to set new goals. As I mentioned before, some of the people that were living the nomadic life in vans chose to settle down during this time. But others just decided, we have this opportunity because of the pandemic, let's take advantage of it and let's go ahead. Finally, and certainly not the least of the factors, is climate change. People want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. The problem, of course, seems overwhelming, and what can one person really do? Not that much. But what can communities do? A lot. But community movements typically start with 1 or 2 people. So that's what 1 or 2 people can do. So climate change has been a major motivator for people to go off-grid, to people go to the nomadic life. All of the other factors that I've listed here have been influenced by climate change as well. Well, that wraps it up for the 9 factors contributing to the surge in homesteading. Be sure to watch out for my next video, in which I want to focus on things you can do to get started homesteading. And here's a little hint. Stop making excuses and just do it.